Good morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion and your old pal Jaw. Well, today it's looking kind of gloomy outside, and they're even saying that it might rain, so it's a good thing that what I want to vlog today is only available this week, and it's indoors, so it's good for us. And then hopefully maybe it'll just be like sprinkles or something. Maybe I can take Jaw out to a park somewhere later, but I really want to go do the vlog first because I'm kind of excited to see it. This is not something that happens very often, and well, you'll just see when we get there. We're gonna head off to Beverly Hills. We're going to Christie's auction house. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Now this is a new experience for me. I have never been to any auction houses, let alone Christie's auction house in Beverly Hills, so. Keeping with our theme today, there's the Troubadour. And the Welcome to Beverly Hills sign. So yeah, I've given you a tad bit of a hint that it is a music auction, and the auction's not even happening here, and it's not happening till June. It's actually happening in New York City, but they're showing an exhibition of it here, so we're gonna check it out. It's David Gilmour of Pink Floyd's guitar collection. In case you're bored walking through Beverly Hills and need your own photo op, they have a board here. You can just walk up and take one. And a couple different sizes to choose from too. Check out the art. All right, we have arrived. It is not every day that someone like David Gilmour, one of the greatest guitar players, songwriters, and frontmen of any band in history, auctions off a guitar collection. So let's go check it out. All right, guys, take a look. There's the collection. Only about 11 or 12 guitars, but they are David Gilmour of Pink Floyd's guitars, so can't believe he's selling them. I just can't believe it. But I want to start you out with one that really caught my eye right away. This one was the Martin Nazareth, his 1969 Nazareth. And this one was often cited as David's primary studio acoustic guitar and one of his favorite guitars. It's a Martin D35, and it said that he got this guitar in late 1971, started using it when he joined Pink Floyd. It was first seen in the recording of Obscured by Clouds, with David and Roger Waters both using the guitar to write and record tracks. He also used it in his solo records, and it said that the guitar can be heard most notably in the 1975 album Wish You Were Here, hailed by Rolling Stone as the band's most enduring composition. Over the subsequent years, the guitar has been used to record tracks on Pink Floyd's albums The Wall, A Momentary Lapse of Reason, and David's solo albums About Face, On an Island, and Rattle That Lock. Can't believe he's selling this one. It says he's used this as a faithful companion throughout the incredible writing and recording history of Pink Floyd. Huh. Says he chose this guitar as his Desert Island item for BBC4 Radio's Desert Island Discs in 2003, stating, "It's not a luxury, it's an essential. I need to take my guitar with me, my acoustic Martin D35 guitar, because life is impossible without a guitar." So then this next guitar was his Kalamazoo Gibson Les Paul, 1955 solid body Les Paul, and it said it's David Gilmour's all gold Les Paul used to record Pink Floyd's hit Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. From 1952 to 57, the Les Paul would be finished in a rich gold color on the top, known as a gold top. And this one, David has played some of his most classic solos on this Les Paul. They said that he played Another Brick in the Wall. He also did the solo for A Momentary Lapse of Reason and for his solos on Poles Apart and A Great Day for Freedom on 1994's The Division Bell. It's estimated to be going for between $30,000 and $50,000. Now, what you won't find with these guitars, I'll just tell you kind of a funny personal story, is you probably will not find a David Gilmour guitar pick, because when he performed at Jimmy Kimmel Live and I was invited to be on the stage through a friend, I asked his guitar tech if I could have a guitar pick, and his guitar tech actually said, "You have a better chance of me giving you my children than getting one of these picks out of my hand." And I was like, "What?" And he said to the guy next to him, he goes, "There's nobody that's going to sell one of these on eBay while I'm around." So I guess as much historical music David Gilmour has made and great records, he seems to really care about people selling his guitar picks on eBay. Now, I did find out afterward that these are not the only guitars that David Gilmour is selling. He's actually selling about 160, maybe a few less than 160 guitars that are going to be auctioned at this. But the ones that we're looking at in here are actually his prize collection pieces, and this one in front of us is no different. This is a Gretsch Penguin, and these are extremely rare. I've seen the brother to this, which is the White Falcon, but the White Penguin, they say this one is so ultra rare that there's only 50 of them made. So this is one of 50, and this one was straight up from his private guitar collection. He didn't play it on tour. He rarely used it for any recordings. This was just a prize piece that he loved to own. And they say this is actually one of the more expensive guitars in the collection. I mentioned to you that they were looking for $100,000 to $150,000 for some of these guitars, and that's what they're expecting out of this White Penguin. It's a beautiful guitar, isn't it? Look at the age on it, and a lot of the bells and whistles, knobs and switches that are on here are things I've never seen. They're the hardware on here is unique unto this guitar or to that time period for sure. Now this one I was blown away by. This is a 1954 Fender made here in Fullerton Fender factory, which I have vlogged in the past. And this one is his white Fender Stratocaster with the serial number 0001, used to record Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 also. It says it's believed that this Stratocaster, bearing the serial number 1, was a number of pre-production custom guitars gifted by Leo Fender to a select group of endorsing artists who helped build the Fender brand. David Gilmour acquired the guitar in 1978. He said, "The first time I played that number 1 Strat, I wanted it for its sound. Although seldom seen on stage due to its rarity and value, the guitar has been used for a number of recordings and live performances." Gilmour used the number 1 in 1978 to record the instrumental Mahalis, the opening track on his eponymous debut solo album. He also used it in Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, and most notably the funky rhythm guitar part on the Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Says, more recently, Gilmour selected the Stratocaster for a 2004 performance at London's Wembley Arena to celebrate the 50 years of the Fender Stratocaster. How is he giving up a number 1? Holy cow. And it also says if you watch the Story of the Guitar BBC documentary from 2004, you'll also see him playing that guitar in there as well. And he said it's a 1954 Fender Stratocaster, and they don't get much better than this. I mean, this is about as perfect as a guitar can be. That says a lot coming from David Gilmour. All right, here's David Gilmour's 12-string, his Martin Nazareth 1971 12-string. Most guitar players that write songs will have an acoustic guitar with 6 strings, and a lot use 12 strings. This was the one that they said he used for 40 years. He got it in 74, and he's used it primarily as his main writing tool, and has recorded songs from Wish You Were Here, and including Welcome to the Machine, Hey You, Paranoid Eyes, and It's What We Do. And if you look around on the guitars, I mean, just look at the pictures. You can see all the war damage from the shows, and in some cases, if you look at the fretboard, you can see where his fingernails have made grooves into those first 2 frets where he would be doing chords, the cowboy chords they call them. Kind of cool to see some of the wear and tear on these guitars. A lot of battle scars. Now, as crazy as a lot of the stories to these guitars are, this one didn't have as much of a story to it, other than this was just one of David's favorite guitars to play in the studio. But what I thought was really fascinating about it is it looks like a Telecaster, but this is actually a 1950 Broadcaster, which I had never seen before. And if you look at the guitar, I mean, there's all kinds of wear all over the front, all over the sides, all over the back. It looks like somebody with a big belt buckle at one time was wearing it and just scratched the living bejesus out of it. But I loved, if you look at the frets and if you look at the back of the neck of the guitar, I mean, you can really see a lot of, I guess, wear, grime, just discoloration. A lot of play has been put on these guitars, and it's kind of crazy to think that somebody gave this guitar a whole life before David Gilmour ever got it and started using it on all those classic Pink Floyd recordings and his own recordings as well. I mean, he's a really accomplished guy, and I saw him, what was it, probably 3 years ago on Kimmel doing solo material, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Now here we have a 1954 Fender Stratocaster, the classic. I mean, I call this one the Buddy Holly, because that's that sunburst, that tobacco sunburst that's on there, that design, that's just always, for me, just screamed Buddy Holly. And this one, they said, was actually based on the neck and the pot code. They believe that this was actually one of the very earliest Stratocasters to ever be completed at Fender. They said that David Gilmour got this in 1978 and would use this for mainly collecting, like he wanted it. And he also used it in some of the studio purposes. But they said that this is a guitar that will actually, probably even without David Gilmour's name attached to owning it, it would be a $50,000 to $70,000 guitar. So it's kind of interesting to see what these will fetch with his name attached to him, because these are not just normal guitars that you can buy in the store on an everyday basis. These aren't just, he found one in a pawn shop. These are clearly guitars that were gifted to him, or he got real lucky, somebody contacting him and offering to sell them to him, because you can't find these early Fenders. And even, I'm guessing, in the late 70s or the early 70s when he was collecting them, they probably weren't all that common. I'm guessing the later 50s models would have been much more common by that point. More of them made, more of them distributed. So now David Gilmour is primarily known for his black Strat, and they have it here, so we're gonna see it. But this was his kind of his second favorite Strat, this red one. And this one, it says he's used from 1988 to 2005, and it said, besides the black Strat, no instrument is more closely associated with David Gilmour than this candy apple red Stratocaster, which he said replaced the black Strat as his principal studio guitar for almost 20 years, becoming a symbol of that Gilmour-led Pink Floyd era. The red Strat made its first stage appearance at London's legendary Live Aid concert in 1985. He used it on A Momentary Lapse of Reason and Division Bell. Can't believe he's getting rid of that. Wow. And then this display didn't have a card or any information, so what I'm thinking this might be, I think this is just a display of David Gilmour's Fender model guitar. I don't know. I probably should have went and asked, but it was the only one that was kind of offset. It's the only one that wasn't hanging up or really kind of secured off in any way. So I was kind of guessing, just the way it was displayed, that was more of his signature Fender model. Oh, check this out. So here we have another. I mean, he didn't own a whole lot. It looks like he didn't use a lot of Les Pauls or anything. He was primarily a Fender Stratocaster type guy, especially the old ones. And this is a 57, built also in the Fullerton factory that we went and vlogged. And it says that this is known as the guitar that they believe it was actually meant for Homer Haynes of Homer and Jethro, and that it was actually a country and jazz guitar, but that David Gilmour acquired it and has been using it for studio purposes and his 1984 studio album, About Face. Now, here's the legend. This is the one. I mean, this is the one that I always saw in the guitar magazines. I don't care how famous the candy apple red one is. Nothing is, to me, is more associated with David Gilmour than the black Strat. And in fact, I believe when Fender released those as a as a model that you could buy as a fan. I believe the Black Strat was the very first one they did. Now it says, through the annals of rock history, David Gilmour's Black Fender Stratocaster stands out as one of only a handful of guitars that have taken on a life of their own and gained a level of fame to match near their owner. Despite humble beginnings as an off-the-shelf standard model that he got in 1970, he got it at Manny's Guitar Store in New York. And it says that of all the instruments in Gilmour's considerable collection, it's the Black Stratocaster that has served him the longest as both a performance and recording guitar. He's used it on Pink Floyd albums from 1970 to 1983 and 4 of Gilmour's solo albums: Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall. Forming the 4 cornerstones of the classic era of Floyd, they were recorded with this guitar. And it says he even gave his mesmerizing, mind-melting solo on Time, Money, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and Comfortably Numb with this guitar. Wow. It says, despite its long and remarkable history, the Black Strat has never been treated with reverence by its owner, but viewed as a working tool. It says it's pretty battered and beat up, but it sounds amazing. I can't believe he's selling it. They say on here that the estimated value is $100,000 to $150,000. But I'm telling you, I bet you it'll go for way more than that, man. David Gilmour and this guitar, I mean, it's synonymous. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like Hendrix and the white Stratocaster at Woodstock. Well, they actually do allow filming in there, but they were playing Pink Floyd music the whole time, and it would have just been too hard with copyright and everything. So I just decided to do it in photos, and I'll narrate what they had on the placards describing each guitar that way. It'll be a lot easier. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that experience. I really wouldn't have had any other option to do it any other day but today, since we're taking off tomorrow, and I didn't want to miss it. It was only going to be able to be seen for 5 days here in Los Angeles, so. Well, I didn't want to interrupt him while he was out and about, but I just walked past Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange. That was kind of crazy. Now let's head home and take Jaw to the park. Kind of suspecting we might get rain. It's kind of cool to see the cactuses blooming. If you didn't know, cactus bloom. Well, it's pretty overcast at this point, so we'll see. I don't know what the dog park situation will look like today. No weather's gonna deter him. Deja vu. Hi.
It was like the doorbell the first time, but he's done it again with a different Sky.
His little girlfriend's here. Little puppy mingling party over there. Why don't you go get Sam? Now he's following around that white dog since the other one, the Dachshund, left. Gotta get the sniffs in. I think those are like compatibility sniffs. I know why you're panting. You were over there trying to hump a dog. You, sir, are no gentleman. What do you think? You got somebody's hair on you. What do you think? You ready to go, or you want to hang out for a little while longer? That doesn't tell me much. Alright, he's decided he's ready to go, even though the park is hopping, there's dogs everywhere. He's ready to rock, so. And surprise on you, my friend, it's time to go drop you off because Breck and I are heading out of here for his moving trip tomorrow. So let's roll. Hey, Ja. Say goodbye to Ja, everyone. Don't worry, guys, we'll see Ja before we know it. Well, good night, everyone. I gotta call it a night because I gotta do some laundry before we take off tomorrow. Hope you guys all enjoyed getting to check out a little preview and I think the best of the best that you can possibly see of the upcoming David Gilmour guitar auction. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Pink Floyd is one of the top 10, maybe top 5 bands of all time, and many of those songs were recorded, written, and played on those guitars, so pretty cool to see. Thank you Richard Ankney and Linda Foster for becoming my newest Patreons, and thank you all for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you all tomorrow for the road trip. Goodbye.